a seat.
So let's go with the first question.
I am Anjali from JNV in Gaya, Bihar. My question to you that you spend a huge amount of money on Dakshana. Did you ever get a second thought about it?
Okay, have a seat. I did not have any second thoughts about it. And I think it's been very well spent. And it's worked out a lot better than I had hoped for. And hopefully continue this for a while. So thank you. Next question.
Hi Mohnish, my name is Bapu Pali. I'm from JNV Arunachal Pradesh. My question to you is, one of my dreams is to study at Stanford University, but as I'm an average student and my parents don't have enough money to send me at Stanford University, I wonder whether I'll be able to fulfill my dreams.
Okay, well, please have a seat. It's a good aspiration. Once you join medical college, you will meet a lot of people there, a lot of professors and so on. And I think a lot of different options may emerge, and in terms of, scholarships or fellowships or different things. So if you stay focused on that goal, it should work. So there is a quote in the Upanishad in our ancient scriptures. It says that as is your wish, so is your will. As is your will, so is your deed. As is your deed, so is your destiny. And then the next part of it is your deepest desire is your destiny. So if you are really intensely focused on something singularly, it will happen. But you have to be extremely singularly focused. And it has to be just a focus on that one thing and not the rest. I thought about one of the Dakshana alums, Ashok Kumar. Some of you have heard of Ashok Kumar. So when Ashok Kumar was going through our program, at that time, PT was required in the morning. Do you guys have PT required? There's some places they have given exemption, some places they require it. And the Dakshana Scholars always complain that it's a waste of time to do the PT. So Ashok basically had to go along with the PT because it was required. But every day before he went for the PT, he had in his head a problem, some physics, chemistry, or math problem that he couldn't solve. And he spent the entire time during the PT thinking about that problem. So whatever they were making him do physically, they were not controlling his mind. He was controlling his mind. And when he was, every day they would line up for meals, lunch and dinner and whatever you were going to line up with your tray, he also had a problem in his head. So all the times which the students might complain was wasted time, for Ashok it was not wasted because he was continuously thinking, right? And then at that time when he went to the program from 2008 to 2010, the last 2 months of JE prep, they sent all the kids back to their home JNVs. So last 2 months, which is the most critical time for coaching, there's no coaching. And Ashok was concerned that he's going to forget everything before the exam. So 2 months when he went back with no coaching and no faculty, nothing available, he basically wrote the entire JE paper twice every day. So we had given him a book which had the last 30 years of JE papers. And every single day he took the test like in a timed manner, like he's taking the actual test. And then whatever he could not solve, he was working on that in the evenings. Next day, he would again take the next year's test. He kept doing it for 60 days. All he did was he must have taken the JE about 60 times. And then he took the exam and he got a very good rank. And from then till now, we have had no scholars who have had a rank better than him. And every time I meet Ashok, he'll say, Mohnish, has anyone done better? I have to put my head down and say, nobody has done better. And so, like, when I saw the kids around, my disappointment was on the wasted time. So I don't know if they were mentally processing. The NEET exams and the JE exams and all are very tough exams. And there is a limited amount of prep time. But that limited amount of prep time becomes unlimited if you change your mindset. So, you want to go to Stanford? Work harder than Ashok. Blow away Ashok. And you will be at Stanford. No problem. Next question.
Hi Manish, myself Chavan Deepak Kumar from JNV Medak, Telangana. My question is, how to overcome stage fear?
Okay, have a seat. It's a really good question. It might be the best question I got on this trip. So thank you really very much for that question. So when I went through my undergraduate degree, I was in the US, my degree is in computer engineering. And I took many different classes. And just like in the IITs, we got some choices about which subjects and some electives where you can choose. And one of the options we had in the degree was that you could either take a course in public speaking or a course in technical writing. We had a choice. You could take either one of those two. I didn't really have much of a reason to pick one or the other. I just picked, okay, let's go with public speaking. When I look back on my years and what I learned in the time I was doing my degree, the class that stands out the most is the public speaking class. And I took so many different math classes and computer science classes and all kinds of different classes. And I don't even remember what was taught in those classes. Right? Those all, from my point of view, mostly irrelevant. The public speaking class was something I enjoyed a lot. And I got a lot of skills that were very helpful to me. So a lot of us have stage fright, stage fear, and that's all pretty normal. So you can get around that pretty easily. So when you go to college, and maybe even in the JNVs, they have these different stages in the JNVs. You can participate in dramas and plays and all of that. That is going to help you a lot. So that's, if you had met me when you were in 6th standard, I would have told you to maximize doing all of that. And then basically, so when you go to medical college, there will be a lot of different clubs and societies. There'll be some things related to drama or, basically acting in plays and so on. I think you should try to do those. In addition to those, there is a global organization called Toastmasters. So Toastmasters is a non-profit organization. They have chapters all over the world. There is probably a chapter in probably every medical school. And if there is not a chapter, you can contact them and open a chapter. And if you join Toastmasters, it doesn't cost anything. You go to the meetings, and over a period of time, you will basically become a good public speaker. I'm not sure exactly all the things, but they may ask you to stand on your desk and just say something, for example, to get things started. And you can kind of take it from there. So it's a good question because public speaking is a very important skill for a very wide range of activities you might engage in when you are an adult or when you're functioning in a variety of different roles. It would be very helpful as a doctor. It'd be helpful as a teacher. It'd be helpful as a salesperson. It's helpful in 1,000 different ways. So it's a very good skill to pick up. So thank you. Next question.
Myself, Mina from JNV Banaskantha, Gujarat. I would like to ask you that what are the major differences between Indian and American education system?
Okay, sure. Have a seat. In India, it's not only just in the education system, it's even in a lot of the legal frameworks, etc. The degree of trust given to individuals is very low. In India, it is guilty until you're proven innocent. And in the US, it's innocent until you're proven guilty. So I'll just explain what I mean by that. So you are not engineering students, but when the first IIT was created, it was basically a collaboration with a number of US universities. So IIT Kharagpur was the first IIT. And what Jawaharlal Nehru did was that he basically approached MIT and Stanford and a few other top engineering schools in the US, and he asked those schools through the US government to help set up the IIT Kharagpur. And so basically the American education system got exported into the IIT system. And thankfully, the Indian government did not try to change that. They just accepted it. So one of the hallmarks of the American education system is, for example, if you are going through 6th to 12th standard, there are no standardized board exams. So, you take a 10th standard board exam and you take a 12th standard board exam. The reason you take that board exam is because the system does not trust the teachers. The system believes that we need to have a central authority conduct the test and collect all the papers, do the grading, assign the marks, so that it is got very high integrity. It's an absolute thing. When my daughters went through high school in the US, all their marks and all their grades were given by the teachers of their school. In 10th standard and in 12th standard, in everything, it was given by the teachers in the school. There was no authority above the teacher. And not only was it given by the teachers of the school, the teacher determined what book to use. Can you imagine a teacher here determining what book to use? Sab NCRT se aana chahiye, right? The teacher decides what book to use. The teacher decides what to teach. And the teacher decides how to teach it. And the teacher decides how to test and how to assign the grades. So for example, when I went to a American university, on the first day, the professor will get up and he will do something like this. He will say that something like this. You know, when I was coming from India, I was really shocked by this. He'll say 25% of your grade is based on attendance. Okay. Then he'll say 25% is based on pop quizzes. I'll explain what that is. Okay. And then he says 25% is final exam. And maybe what I'll do is just to make it simple, let's make this 20% here. And 30% is 3 tests, 10% each. Okay. So he basically said, look, the class is going to run for 4 months, 1 semester. And he said that, what he said is that basically randomly on any day, I can take attendance. He's not taking attendance every day. He just one day decide I'm going to call everyone's name. And if on that day you are not there, he'll take 5% off. Gone. Which means that if you did it 5 times and you were missing all 5 times, you would lose that 25%, right? On a random basis, right? He or she is the one who came up with that rule. No higher authority is telling him. Okay. And the pop quizzes are surprise tests. So he says, sometime you'll come to a class, I'm just going to give you a 10-minute test, multiple choice, without telling you there's going to be a test today. And that's 20% of yours. And it may be 1 test in the whole semester, which would be 20% of the whole grade, or it could be 10. He'll decide, right? 3 tests, 10% each. You'll be told in advance the date. You'll be told what's happening. You can study for those. And then final exam, 25%. He might even add some different criteria for homework, different things. Every class I went through, every professor had a different formula. They decided. We have never seen that in India. Reason we have not seen that in India is no one trusts the teacher, right? Guilty until proven innocent. Ridiculous system, right? And now this system has problems too. Some professors may not teach much, do different things. You know, they may keep life very easy for the students. Some may make it really hard for the students, different things. But overall, it allows the creativity to be kept with the professor. And this system got exported to the IITs. So the IITs have this system because it came from the US, and thankfully they never changed it. And they have a grade point system and all of that came through. So I also find the same thing in India, even though both the US and India are democracies, I find the same thing in many different things I do. So for example, if I open a bank account in the US, I'll have to sign one place. In the end, some place they'll say you sign here to open the bank account. Here, I have to sign 20 places. Okay. And every time what happens to me in Indian bank account, like recently I have an NRI account in India. I was trying to wire some money to the US and I filled out their form, a lot of bureaucracy is there. And then they're telling me your signature is not matching. When I sign a check in the US, nobody even looks at the signature. None of my signatures have ever matched on a US check I have written. They all were accepted because the system trusts you. Here, I said, I'm the guy signing it. So I said, send me the specimen signature that you have so I can copy it and sign it and send it back. No, we cannot give you the specimen signature. You have to sign the way we have it in our record, but we cannot show you what we have in our records. So I talked to that lady in the bank. She said, you know, the signature you have in your passport, that is like the specimen. I'm not supposed to tell you that, but that's like the specimen signed like that. Okay. This is the kind of stupidity that goes on. Okay. So on every single front, so in the US, for example, the bank is obviously concerned about fraud, but they feel that whole laws are designed around a system where the assumption is that 99.99% of people are honest, and therefore we are not going to make their life difficult. In India, the assumption is 99.99 people are dishonest, even though that is not true. And therefore we will make everyone's life difficult. Okay. So, and we get funny laws that get passed in India. So for example, when the Mumbai terrorist attacks took place, very sad event took place. There was a Pakistani guy, Headley, who came to Mumbai twice. He had a visa because he's not an Indian national. He came to Mumbai twice and he took pictures of all these different places, which later the terrorists used to go to those places. They were familiar because of those pictures, right? Headley had made trips to India twice within 45 days. He came once, then after 45 days, he came again. So some bureaucrat in Delhi decides that this terrorist attack has taken place because we allowed foreigners to enter India more than once in 2 months. And so they passed a law, no foreigner can enter India more than once in 6 months, okay? There are 10 million people coming to India every year as tourists. They are not terrorists. There are millions of people coming to India every year who are doing business in India. They are not terrorists. I was coming to India at that time 4 or 5 times a year. Every 2 or 3 months I was coming. Suddenly, I cannot come because they have passed this stupid law. So an innocent person is being treated as guilty. And this law stayed on the books 1 year before some other sensible people realized this is stupid and they took it out. But the approach in India has always been, how do we design something so with the assumption that everyone is a crook, everyone is trying to cheat you. And so the education system also believes that. And, like for example, many times in the US, when I was taking a test, like the professor will say the final exam is open book. Do you know what it means by open book? Bring whatever you want with you. Bring 10,000 books if you want. You can refer to anything and answer the test, right? We don't have open book exams here. But open book is actually the way things function in the real world. In the real world, if you don't know something, you will look it up. So an open book exam actually simulates real world conditions. But it's not considered to be honest in India. So these are a lot of kind of perspectives on the big difference I see in the US and India. But at least we have the IITs. And I'm not sure what the medical schools and colleges, maybe some of them are like that too. I hope so. So next question.
Hi Mohnish, my name is Shubham Srivas from JNV Pune, Uttar Pradesh. And my question to you is, what is the thing that made Dakshana far better than the other institute?
Okay, have a seat. We don't really have any direct quote-unquote competitor in Dakshana. So I cannot point to other organizations which have the same approach like Dakshana does. The only thing we can compare Dakshana to is we could compare it to the for-profit coaching industry, right? And one of the advantages we have versus the for-profit coaching industry like Resonance or Fitchi or Akash and so on, Alan, is that we have a very strong incentive not to take students who don't have any chance of getting to IIT or a medical college. We have no incentive to do that. The coaching institutes have a lot of incentive to fool everybody who they take into believing that they will get a medical or IIT seat, right? Their job, their focus is on making fools of people. Their whole business is based on making fools of people. So if you think about the total number of students that appear for the JEE mains, it is about 11 lakhs. If you look at total number of students who appear for the medical NEET exam, I think it's 21 lakhs. So between these two, we have 32 lakhs appearing, right? How many medical seats are there in India? 50,000? Okay. So let's say there's 50,000 seats. Let's also assume that 50% of the students who are appearing to get a seat have been professionally coached. Okay. So let's say out of 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs have no coaching and 10 or 11 lakhs have got coaching, right? So the 10 lakhs who got coaching, basically only 5% are going to get a seat, right? Now, when we conduct our selection test at Dakshana, many times we can not only tell whether a person will go to a medical college or not, we know what their rank is going to be. We can look at our test scores because we have so much history, and we can do with past correlations and say, okay, this person may get top 1,000 rank, for example, or top 500 rank, or top 2,000 rank, that sort of thing. And we very specifically will not take anyone if the probability is below 70%. So we know the way we do it inside Dakshana is that we put probability of getting a medical seat. The top ones are close to 100% or at 100%. Then it goes to 90, 80, 70, keeps going down. Once we get below 70%, we don't consider those kids. Okay, we cut it off, right? Which means that, and generally when we get our test results after first attempt or second attempt, probably 70-80% have got a seat. So if the coaching institutes ran like that, then what would happen is that only 70,000 students would be prepared, or 80,000 students would be prepared. The rest would be rejected. The coaching institute would not take them if they were trying to be honest with the students. But their whole business depends. So if the coaching institute knows that you have 100% shot of getting in, they will even give you a scholarship. They will make it free for you. They don't care about the revenue or whatever's coming from the students who will get a seat. Their business depends on getting revenue from the students who will not get a seat. So 9.5 lakhs will not get a seat. But 9.5 lakhs, each one giving 3, 4, 5 lakhs is a big number. Let's try to calculate that number. Let's take a round number. Let's take it's 10 lakhs who don't get a seat. Let's say they took 10.5 lakhs and 10 lakhs didn't get a seat. And then each one, let's say, how much is the cost of coaching? 3 lakhs. But if you go to Kota, room and board, 5 lakhs. So let's take average 4 lakhs. So 4 lakhs. So it's very large number, but I'm going to make it a little smaller number just by using dollars because it'll make it easier for me. So if I divide this by 80,000, this would be $5,000 times 1 million. So it would be $5 billion. Okay. So the amount being taken by the coaching industry exceeds by a large amount the total amount spent by all the medical colleges in India combined over the entire 4 or 5 year period. This is the way the system works. I have some rich friends, and my rich friends will sometimes tell me, my son has been accepted by Allen to get JE coaching. He took their test. They said he did really well, and he's going to go to Kota, and he's going to be coached for 2 years. I said, listen, let me give your son a test. I'll give them Dakshana selection test. And when he takes that test, I will tell you the reality of what's going to happen with him. So the guy comes, he takes our test. He doesn't have 100% probability or 70% probability or 40% probability. He's sitting at less than 10% probability. Okay. He is one of the people that Alan wants to take to just make money. So I asked my friend, is your son interested in engineering? He says, actually, he's not interested. I said, are you interested in him becoming an engineer? He said, yes, I'm very interested. I said, that doesn't mean anything. And then I asked him, what does he want to be? He wants to be a painter. So I said, please do not send him to Alan. After 2 years, he will think of just killing himself. There's no point. And I then explained to them, listen, I know you think your son is smart. He's not smart. Trust me. I know. Okay, let him do what he wants to do in life. Give him a paintbrush and let him do whatever painting he wants. Engineering chhod do. After that, my friend stops talking to me. This is the way my life goes. Next question. Yeah, that's the difference between Dakshana and the rest.
Namaste Mohnish. I am Akshata from JNV Bagalkot, Karnataka. I am curious to know about how has Dakshana developed to this large extent and what were the hurdles that you faced?
Yeah, please have a seat. Dakshana actually done a lot better than I had ever thought it would do. One of the reasons it has done so well is because I am not involved in running it. If I was involved in running it, it would be much worse. So it's a good thing that I'm not involved. And there are other better and smarter people involved in running Dakshana. And so one of the, I would say that I had some objectives when I started Dakshana. And actually, I didn't even want to start Dakshana. I started Dakshana because I had no choice. So I basically like to play math games. We're going to play some math games right now. June 11, 2054. Do you know what this date is? This is the date on which I'm leaving planet Earth. These very evolved yogis in the Himalayas, like Paramahansa Yogananda, etc., they could control their heart. So what I mean by they could control their heart is they can turn their heart on and off whenever they want. And they would decide when they want to leave planet Earth by simply turning off their heart when they were ready to leave. And they call the concept taking samadhi. So they will call their followers. They will sit cross-legged in front of their followers and the guy will just fall over and there's no pulse, he's gone. And some of them actually went to some heart institutes in US and they told the doctor, listen, I'm going to show you something you're never going to see again in your life. I'm going to stop my heart for about 2-3 minutes and then I'm going to restart my heart. So doctor said, ye kya baat kar raha hai? Usne heart band ki aur 3 minute baad shuru kar diya. And they still don't know how they did that. But that's not what I'm planning to do, because I'm not an evolved yogi who can control my heart, But I'm just letting you know, some people can do that. I'm not part of those people. But that's the date I'm leaving planet Earth. Now, the situation is like this. So currently, I have about 600 crores, okay? And this 600 crores is growing at about 15% a year, okay? So basically, there is something in mathematics known as the rule of 72. So rule of 72 is a mathematical hack. Basically, if I divide 72 by 15, which is about approximately 5, it tells me how long it takes the money to double, okay? So if I'm getting a 15% return every year, the money will double in 5 years because it's compounded. 1.15 times 1.15, it will become 2 in 5 years, okay? And if this rate was 10%, you would do 72 divide by 10, this would be approximately 7. It would take 7 years at 10%, okay? So this approximation makes it easy to tell how quickly money will double. It's very important to know how much time it takes money to double. So basically, we have this thing where we'll double the money every 5 years. So I have 30 years left, which is 2 to the power of 6. There are 6 5-year periods. So it's 2 to the power of 6. 6 doubles is 64. So 64 times 600 crores. Let's make it a round number. Let's keep it simple. Let's make it 50 to make it easier. So 50 times 600 is 12,000 crores. So if this money compounds at 15% till 2054, it becomes 12,000 crores. I have about 6,000 crores of other people's money, which other people have given me to invest. And on this money, the way it works is the first 6% of return every year goes to the investors. Okay, so let's say, for example, I get a 10% return on this money. Okay, the first 6% will go to the investors, and then the remaining amount, I get 25% and they get 75%, which means that the 4%, I get 1% and they get 3%. So if the money goes up 10%, I basically get 1%. Okay, so what happens is that if I look at this 600 crores, after 1 year, it becomes 690 crores, but I also get another 60 crores from here. Plus 60, it becomes 750. Okay, so basically 600 became 750 after 1 year, right? And in effect, basically the compounding rate is actually 25% because of the override on the other people's money, right? Because I have one engine and the second engine. So if I were to basically look at these two engines together and I just make it simple, and I say that basically the 600 crores is growing at 25%, 72 divided by 25 is approximately 3. We have 30 years, we have 2 to the power of 10, this is 1024, which is approximately equal to 1000. So it will become 6,000, 60,000, 6 lakh crores, okay? So in 2054, it will become 6 lakh crores. But the 6 lakh crore is a problem because I need it to be 10,000. So basically now we have this 6 lakh crores on one side. So let's write that 6 lakh crores. Okay, now on the other side is Dakshana. Dakshana is the engine to try to take that money down to nothing, right? So right now we are taking 1,000 kids per year. Each kid costs us 2.5 lakhs. We are spending 25 crores a year, okay? And I already told you that the 600 is going to 750 in 1 year. So it is increasing by 150 and it is only decreasing by 25. There's a problem. You see the problem? But there's another problem here. Other people decided to give Dakshana money. So now what happens is, out of the 25 crores, 17 crores is coming from other people who are very nice people. And 8 crores is coming from me. So instead of 25, I'm only giving 8, right? So now it's even worse because this 150 is going down by only 8, right? So basically what happens is, after 1 year, the 600 is 742, right? And the next year, it will increase by 25% and go down by 8, right? So now the situation is, this number need to increase, this 1,000. So the issue we have is that there are 17,000 IIT seats. And it is very unlikely and very difficult for Dakshana to take more than 2,000 seats. If we take 2,000 seats at IIT a year, 1 in 8 IITians will come from Dakshana wearing a black shirt. You'll go on the campus, you'll only see black shirts. Okay? So basically, but let's say we are able to send 2,000 kids to IIT. And let's say the 50,000 medical seats, those are harder. We may be able to get 3,000. We can't get more than 3,000. But let's say we get 2,000 medical seats also. So we get 4,000. And to get 4,000, let's say we train 6,000, right? 1/3 leakage going to NIT or going to other fields, whatever. So if we take 6,000 kids per year, this number increases by 6. It will be 150 crores, right? But again, the problem is there are the donors and all that which get split. And the second issue is that increasing it in this manner takes a lot of time. So for example, we are trying to increase capacity at Dakshana Valley by 600. It's going to take 3.5 years of construction to build the classrooms and dormitories and kitchens and all of that. So it will be ready, I was just talking to them today, it will be ready in 2026. So for us to go from 1,000 to 1,600 will happen in 2026. I mean, we are just in JNV Pune for us to add the classroom walls. So that happens in 2026. Then if I want to go from 1,600 to, let's say, 2,500, this might be 2029. Then 2,500 to, let's say, 3,500, this might be 2032. And, we keep going. By the time we are at around 2040, we may be at 6,000, right? Because we are gradually increasing the capacity. By this time, it's 16 years from now, 2 to the 5 doubles have already taken place. So 600 is gone up by 32 times. So that's like 18,000 crores approximately. So that number will already be sitting at 18,000 crores in 2040 when the expense is 150 crores. So you see my problem. And so I like to play math games. And the game I'm playing is one game which increases wealth. There's a second game which reduces wealth. And I want the two to converge on June 10th, 2054, which means that I have to figure out some engine which will neutralize it. I have to find some other program. Just preparing for IIT and all that is not going to be enough. Once we have 1 in 8 people from Dakshana being in IIT, we have 1 in 10 or 20 being in med school, that'll be it. So I'm thinking about what I can do next. If you come up with some ideas, let me know. But right now, stay focused on NEET. After you finish NEET, you can send me an email with your ideas, mpabrai@dakshana.org. Okay, so next question.
Hello Manish, my name is Mangal Singh Nadari. I am from JNV Udalguri, Assam. My question is, how do you control excitement?
All right. I think it's really important in life not to control your excitement. That's an important thing. It's also really important in life to only do things that are exciting. If you do things that are not exciting, you will not do them well and you will not achieve greatness. So to achieve greatness, you have to be passionate about something. And if you're passionate about something, you will do it well. And when you do something well, life becomes exciting. So do not control your excitement. Go for maximum excitement. Okay, next question.
Hi Mohnish, I am Prajwal Walikar from JNV Pune, Karnataka. My question is that what is your next step after Dakshana Foundation?
I am hoping that somehow within Dakshana, we can get to the 10,000. And there will probably need to be other programs. And so we'll see what we can do. One of the things is that because I'm competitive and I'm a math guy, whatever program we have, we want the return to society to be extremely high. This program delivers a very high return to society. And one of the reasons it delivers a very high return is that the medical colleges and the IITs are very heavily subsidized. If the IITs charge the actual amount it costs to educate one student, and the government did not provide any money to the IITs, all of it was paid by the students, the per student per year cost would be about $15,000 a year, which would be what? About 12 lakhs a year, 12 to 15 lakhs a year. And medical would actually be even more than that, might be close to 20 lakhs a year. So you don't pay 20 lakhs a year when you go to a government college. You pay nothing because you get all these subsidies. And so we only spend 2.5 lakhs to unlock basically 60 lakhs of government spending. And that's what makes the program deliver such a high return. Also, the Navodaya system spends a lot of money on each of you. Every year, the government is spending 2 to 3 lakhs on you for 7 years. So about 15 to 20 lakhs gets spent by the government before you go to college. Then after you go to college, another 60 to 80 to 1 crore is spent on you. We have a very benevolent government. Long live the government of India. So, next question.
Hi Mohnish, I am Rishika Beli from JNV Pune, Madhya Pradesh. As we all are toppers in our own school, since here everyone is topper from their school and I am struggling to keep us with them. My confidence level is getting low day by day. So my question to you is that what I can do to increase my confidence?
Okay, congratulations to all the toppers. Full classroom filled with toppers. So, you know my friend Ashok Kumar, who got rank 63, which nobody has beaten since then. Ashok got rank 63. He went to IIT Bombay Computer Science. IIT Bombay Computer Science closes at rank 90. At 90, it's done. If you are general category rank 91, go to IIT Delhi. IIT Bombay is closed, computer science. So, Ashok was telling me he was in his first computer science class. These are not toppers. This is topper to the power of topper, to the power of topper, to the power of topper. Toppers quad, okay, sitting in this classroom. Brains are oozing out of their brains. Okay, so there is the first test in his first computer science class. And Ashok is studying really hard. And he takes the test. And he gets a score of 28 out of 100. And he said, I'm just staring at the paper. Topper to the power of topper to the power of toppers. And then he said, I looked at all the other marks. There are some kids with 98, 95, 93. And he said that these guys who got 98, they were not studying yesterday. They were just playing around. The guy had rank 3. He didn't even study. Just came and took the test. Got 97. So Ashok kept staring at that paper. He's always topped everywhere. Topped in JNV, topped in Dakshana, topped everywhere. Now, no longer topping. So he said to me, I looked at that test and I felt really sad. And I said myself, ये मैं कहाँ आ गया हूँ? क्या होने वाला है यहाँ? नाक कटने वाली है. Okay? But he said, I have to work a lot harder. I have to find another gear. Whatever I have done in the past is not enough. There is no classroom in the world with more brain power than the IIT Bombay Computer Science undergraduate classroom. It does not exist. It does not exist at MIT. It does not exist at Stanford. You know why it doesn't exist at Stanford? Because at Stanford, if your father went to Stanford and gave some money to Stanford, they will give you admission. And at MIT, if you are a black student or you are got some issues, they will give you admission. We have some category kids here as well. And to give admission in MIT and Stanford, they make you write an essay about some different topics. And part of the criteria to admit you is looking at the essay. Part of the criteria to admit you is who your parents are. How much have they given to the school? Where are you coming from? All these things, right? What is your race? The IIT general category does not give a damn about any essay. It does not give a damn if you are the president's son or the prime minister's son or Ambani's son or Ambani's daughter. You take the JEE, you give me a rank, and based on that rank, I'll put you in that classroom or I won't put you. It is the best system in the world. In one area, at least, India is leading. I told the people at Stanford and MIT, कुछ सीख लो. ज़्यादा कुछ करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. JEE का पेपर सीधा उठा के दे दो. वही पेपर दे दो इनको करने को. फिर देखो क्या होता है. But they are not doing that. So, and also, all the talent tries to go to that one place in India. In the US, some people want to stay in California, some people want to go to Florida, some people want to come different places. Some people don't want to go to MIT because it's too cold in Boston. Nobody cares about all those things. Everyone comes to IIT Bombay Computer Science, right? And so Ashok said, I have to change what I'm doing. I have to work a lot harder. I have to really understand the competition. And when he finished in IIT Bombay, he was like, I think 8.8, 8.9 GPA, probably top 15% of his class, top 10, 15%. He made it. He kept working and made it. He grew up in a slum in Hyderabad, in Gachibowli, not very far from JNV, Hyderabad. And Gachibowli now has become a place where a lot of tech companies have come. The Microsoft India, the headquarters of Microsoft India, is in Gachibowli, less than 2 kilometers from the slum where he was living. So he did his internships at Microsoft because he could be at home. He was going to join Microsoft. And for him and his parents, Microsoft was the best because that's what they can see. The biggest company over there they can see. I told Ashok, listen, send an email to Google. He said, I don't know any email address. I said, I'll give you the email address, hr@google.com. Send it to hr@google.com. Send your resume there. And I said, in the body of the resume, only put 2 or 3 things. I'm Ashok Kumar, IIT Bombay Computer Science, JE rank 63, 8.9 GPA. I would love to work at Google. Warm regards, Ashok. 2 दिन बाद Google ने contact किया. Can we do a Skype interview? They interviewed him by video interview. They gave him job offer. He said, I already accepted Microsoft. They said, छोड़ दो, Microsoft की ज़रूरत नहीं है. They moved him to California. Life is good. He found another gear. So, you were talking about being a topper and now not being a topper. So the good news is competition makes us better. And you should not feel bad that your scores are low. A lot of people here are feeling like that because they were all toppers and there's now only one topper.
Hi Mohnish, my name is Sahitya. I am from JNV Dongaga, Chhattisgarh. My question to you is, failure is a key to success and you are a successful person. Have you ever failed in your life?
The only time we really grow in life is after we fail. It is so useless to be a topper because agar aap topper ho to kya karo? Relax karo. You already at the top, so it's not going to help you. But if you were a topper in your school before you came here and now you are not getting great marks, it's really a great thing because it allows you to put more efforts and work harder and overcome the obstacles. So when I look back in my life, every time there was some big adversity, some big problem, it was really the result of overcoming that adversity that led to a lot of growth and development. There is a Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius. He was a Roman emperor who spent almost his entire life on the battlefield. And on the battlefield, he had a lot of injuries and he felt sick a lot and he had to recover from his wounds and some battles he would lose and so on. And he came up with a philosophy which is known as the Stoic philosophy. So at some point in the future, you can study the Stoic philosophy. And it's a very good philosophy. And basically, he says that to encounter misfortune and overcome it is good fortune. So we should be grateful whenever we face some problem. And I remember many times in my life when things were not going well, it was really kind of working through and overcoming that challenge that led to a lot of growth. Like, for example, one of the times in my life in 1999, at that time there was a big .com boom going on. People were forming a lot of different companies, .com this, .com that, a lot of different internet companies. 99.999% of them failed. I had formed a company also, and I invested a lot of money in that company, and I had investors who put money in that company, and eventually that company failed. And I lost a lot of money, and my investors lost the money, and it was a very bad experience. But that experience taught me a number of things. And later, when I started Pabrai Funds, which was my next venture, I was able to see around the corner. I was able to see a little bit further than others could see because of the experience I had. And it led to a lot of success. And that success would not have come if that had not gone through that adversity. So I always feel that every time something negative takes place, usually there is a silver lining around it. And so things work out well. And so it's a good thing. Next question.
Hi Mohnish, my name is Yashraj Rajendra Sonwane. I am from JNV Pune, Maharashtra. My question to you is, how did you tie up with Navodaya Samiti and how did you come up with the idea to give such quality education?
So one of the important mental models that I learned a long time ago is very powerful to use is to be a cloner. Being a cloner means being a copycat. Normally people think copying is a bad thing. It's a negative thing. Copying is a very good thing if you don't do it on a test. Okay. So basically, a lot of smart people have come up with a lot of good ideas. We do not need to come up with the ideas ourselves. We can just grab the ones that are already there. कुछ सोचने की ज़्यादा ज़रूरत नहीं है. I am not so smart that I can come up with some concept like Dakshana. ये हमारे बस की बात नहीं है. So in 2006, I heard about Super 30 and I heard about Anand Kumar. And I said, kya zabardast model hai. So I told Anand Kumar, I sent him an email, mail@super30.org. Dear Anand, you are a wonderful guy doing wonderful work. I would love to support you. Can we take your Super 30 program and make it Super 300? I will write you a check to support you. And I will never tell you anything about what to do. You have full freedom. Do anything you want. He said, thank you, but we don't take outside money. And we don't want to scale. And I don't want to change from 30 to 31. I want to keep it at 30. So then I asked him, can we copy your model? He said, ये तो बड़ी अच्छी बात है. हम आपकी मदद करेंगे. And I already knew in life from previous examples that cloning and copying is very powerful. So I said, okay, the guy doesn't mind us copying. It's a really powerful model. It doesn't really exist other than him doing it. It needs to be much larger. He is not willing to do it. Why don't we give it a try? So I looked at his model. I said, हम टोपा लगा देते हैं ये model का. But there was a problem. And the problem was that when Anand Kumar announces that there's going to be a selection test, 10,000 Biharis will show up to take the test. And out of 10,000, he picks 30. Obviously, all 30 are going to go to IIT. अगर आप 10,000 में से 30 चुन रहे हो, तो automatically topper के topper आएंगे, सब चले जाएंगे थोड़ी उनको कोचिंग देकर. So I said, अगर मोनिश अनाउंस करेगा कोई टेस्ट होने वाला है, कौन आएगा लेने को? कोई नहीं आएगा. वो बोलेंगे कौन है मोनिश? So I said, ये तो बहुत समस्या हो गई कि हम क्लोनिंग करना चाहते हैं. But I have this basic problem where I don't have a brand and he has a brand. What I learned in business is that when you start a business, you don't have all the answers. Just start. One by one, you will figure out the answer. So I said, okay, what we will do is, the first thing I decided is that I was living in California. I said, I'm sitting in California. I'm not going to move to India. I want to run some organization like Super 30 at 10 times the size in India. I don't know anyone. I don't have any team. Everyone will take advantage of me. The money will be stolen and lost. I said, कोई फिक्र करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, शुरू कर. So I said, how do I get started? I said, first step, I need some guy in India who can start doing some legwork and some research and figure out a few things. So I asked my IIT friends in the US that, listen, I'm looking for some person, consultant, someone to help me. So they said, why don't you write down what you're looking for? One of them said, and I'll put a post in the IIT Madras alumni message board and we'll see if someone responds to that. So I said, okay, I wrote up what I was looking for. Some guy read that message board. He was an IIT Madras graduate. He was retired. He was in his 60s. And he said, I'm free. I live in Bangalore. What would you like me to do? His name was Ramesh. He became our first CEO. I said, Ramesh, look, every hour you work for Dakshana, I'll pay you 500 rupees. Every day you work for Dakshana, I'll pay you 5,000 rupees. I'll give you a credit card. So if you travel anywhere, sab credit card pe dal do. So all your expenses are covered. He said, it's okay. I don't need the money, but what you're proposing is fine. No problem. So I was thinking, first problem, how do we find students? So I told him, listen, you go to Kota, which is the epicenter of IIT prep, and you go to all the coaching institutes and tell them that, listen, if you run into any students who have cleared your selection test, but they cannot afford to pay you, bring them to our attention. We will pay the tuition and you can admit them there. So we met with Bansal classes in the morning, and that afternoon they called Ramesh and said, we have a family, they are crying, they cannot afford. You met us. So Ramesh met the family. Then he talked to me. I said, does it look genuine? He said, yeah, I think they are poor, it looks genuine. I said, unko tum cover karo. Give him, find him hostel, meal plan, tuition, books, cycle bhi le do unko. So we got our first scholar, Shashank Dubey, who is now a IIM Calcutta graduate now. So he was our first scholar. And like this, we got 5-6 scholars from the coaching institute at Kota. And we were up and running. We were not at 300, we were at 6. 6 is better than 0, right? Anything better than 0. And then while Ramesh was going and meeting all the coaching institutes, one guy told him, you should talk to Navodaya. He doesn't know head or tail what Navodaya is. वो इधर से सुन के इधर से निकल गया. Then कुछ 2 हफ्ते बाद somebody else said, you should go talk to Navodaya. So this time he said, ये तो second army बता रहा है ये Navodaya क्या है. So then he found out there's a set of schools, there's a body in Delhi, he contacted the Navodaya in Delhi. Thankfully, they responded to him and they met with him. And the commissioner of Navodaya and the head of academics at that time, they were really concerned at that time in 2007 that Navodaya has a lot of talented kids. And after 12th, there's nothing. They are just wasted. And they could tell that Dakshana really has nothing to offer. It has no track record. It has no brand. It's not like Super 30. We have never sent one kid to IIT ever. But Andho mein Kana Raja. They have no choice. The only people in front of them offering to do something for free is Dakshana that they've never heard of. So they said, what do we lose? We can try. If it doesn't work, we'll throw them out. So they said, look, we can start your program in 7 locations. And we have all these kids, 40,000 kids in each class, in each year. You can test the kids. You pick 300 kids. We'll put them at these 7 locations. And you do 2 years of coaching. So I said, we are done. We now have 300 kids without a brand, even though we are not Anand Kumar. I did not know there's a Navodaya when I started Dakshana. But like I said, I knew from previous businesses, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Now, the second problem we had was, we don't know how to train anyone for IIT. But that was easy. I said, we can just outsource to the coaching institutes. So we told FitG and Resonance and all these people, हमारा ये center है पुणे में, आप अपनी faculty भेज दो, हम आपको wire transfer कर देंगे. They all took the wire transfer and they sent useless faculty, or they sent no faculty, and things were not working well. First batch, we only had 10-15% go to IIT. It was a very low number because the quality of the coaching was very poor. We knew that the quality was poor because the students were complaining. And I knew in business, also from doing business, that जो भी problem है, fix हो सकती है. तो जो coaching वाले थे जिन्होंने हमारा पैसा लेके कुछ नहीं किया, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not going to let them fool me again. I'm not going to send them the second wire transfer. Only one and done. So we gradually started improving the quality of the coaching. We put more metrics in place. Instead of sending them 6 months of fees in advance, I told them I'll send them fees once a month. And if the coaching quality is poor, the fees will not come. And so on. So we started for the next year, 35% pe aa gaya. It improved. And every year we just kept improving. And so that's the way it is. It's pretty simple. And here we are. Next question.
Hi Mohnish, this is Anushka Khobrakadi from JNV Nagpur, Maharashtra. You know, you have seen so much in your life, gone through goods and bads. And at this stage of your life, when you have everything, what does happiness means to you?
Such a profound question. What I try to do is, anytime I do any activity, like right now I'm doing an activity of talking to you, I reflect on the activity later and I ask myself, did I enjoy that? Was it fun? Was it not fun? I do a post-mortem. And let's say I meet someone for lunch. I ask myself, how did I enjoy that? If it was mediocre or poor, I will never see that person again for the rest of my life. There'll be no more lunches. And so all I do is I look at how I spend my time and I look at what I enjoy and I increase that in my life. And the things that I don't enjoy, I either decrease or eliminate it, right? So Dakshana has been running now for 16 years, from 2007. And I have met with many different students and I've had many sessions like this. And I enjoy these sessions. And so I enjoy them. So I keep them in the picture. And whatever things I don't enjoy, I take out. I don't like to spend time with humans. Spending time with humans is very boring, except for Dakshana Scholars. I like to spend time with myself. The best person to spend time with is myself. But I said it's good to have a few more friends. And my friends are all spread out around the world. I said, let me try to find some friends in Austin. So I decided twice a month, I'm going to call someone over in the afternoon to have Assam tea with me. A lot of people would contact me and say, I want to meet you for talking or lunch or whatever. So I said, this guy looks interesting. Let's have Assam tea with this guy, see what happens. And I've been doing this for 2 years. So about 24 people came over. And of course, the tea was great because I made the tea. But for about 22 or 23 out of the 24 people, I didn't have an interest in seeing them again. So उनको फिर से invitation नहीं दिया. What we say, one and done. We didn't need to see them again. But there was one guy who was a lot of fun. I enjoyed meeting him. He enjoyed meeting me. So I contacted him and I said, Adam, I'd like us to meet again. And where would you like to meet? He said, I want to meet for tea again. I said, Adam, I am new to the city. Why don't we go someplace for lunch where you know the place? I can also get some experience. He said, no, I only want to come to your place for tea. I said, okay. So I met him again. We had a good time. Then I told Adam, can we meet again? He said, yes, at your place for tea. So now I stopped asking Adam where. He only wants to meet at my place for tea. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. And he's become a good friend. And I keep having the 2 teas a month, hoping a second great friend will emerge. Maybe in 1 or 2 or 3 years, a second friend will emerge. So your question was about how do you define happiness? This is how I define happiness. And this is how I execute on happiness.